This is Doug, and you're listening to What's the Hazard? It is story time, and we are talking about managing or parenting, right? Are they the same? Are they basically the same skill set? Interestingly, so we've been reading from John Rosemond, syndicated columnist, child psychologist. I'm going to read a third article, and then I'm going to let you stew on this stuff for a while. So this one is entitled, Why You Shouldn't Try to Be Liked by Your Child. And, you know, this is really interesting. My boys are grown. I have two sons, grown adults. We have not been really, I guess I still parent them, but I try to parent them differently to some degree. We've actually become friends, I believe. It wasn't really my intent to be their friend when they were living in my house. You know, I was the authority figure. My wife and I were the authorities and trying to give them reasonable life guidance along the way. But now that they're grown men, they've moved away. I think we're actually better friends than we were. And I think that is the consequence of perhaps this attempt to gain respect and obedience rather than gain this friendship thing. And so I'm going to read a little bit from this article, but I think it does have significant application to the work environment. You know, let's just substitute the word manager for the word adult and the word employee for the word child in these articles, in these columns, and see where that gets us. So again, this is from John Rosemond. Is the following statement true or false? It is often the case that children like what is not good for them and do not like what is good for them. This is true, right? And Rosemond says, absolutely true. The question then becomes, are you trying to be liked by your child? Or in our case, are you trying to be liked by your employees? Other forms of the same question. Does it bother you when your child acts like he doesn't like you? When your child acts like he doesn't care for you? Do you try to correct the situation? Do you desire in your heart of hearts to be seen by your child as a friend? If you answered yes to those questions, you have proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are not of sound mind. In this case, a sound mind is defined as not caring one way or the other whether your child likes you at any given moment in time or not. What an odd concept, an adult who wants to be liked by a child. And I think we can apply this fairly closely to a manager wanting or needing to be liked by an employee. Children are driven by their senses. A child will choose a sugar-laden, artificially purple, orange-colored junk drink over pure, refreshing water, for example, right? A child will choose sugar and carbo-saturated junk food over green food that grew in unadulterated soil. What an odd concept that an adult who wants to be liked by a child. What, pray tell, does one say to such a person, given they have unequivocally evidenced no evidence of a sound mind? I suggest good luck with that. Children are quick to sense when an adult wants to be liked by them. They may lack the ability to express their understanding, but keep in mind that children are intuitively brilliant. When a child senses that an adult wants to be liked, the child begins to spiral, some more rapidly than others, out of control. The child senses correctly that someone who wants to be liked is incapable of effectively correcting his behavior. Wow. Again, this goes back to our workplaces. Managers, employees can sense that managers who want to be liked are going to be really challenged when it comes to correcting behavior and discipline, right? The adult in question is acting like he is the child's peer, and peers cannot effectively discipline one another. The successful discipline of a child requires that an adult act like, an adult. Or likewise, a manager act like a manager. Acting like an adult involves establishing an emotional and physical boundary between yourself and your child. You can be friendly, but you can't be a friend. You are available, but you are not at the child's beck and call. The child is not the center of your world. Quite opposite, you are the center of his or her world. You are a role model of what it means to be an adult. Your primary relationships are with other adults, beginning with your spouse. You are, from your child's point of view, an interesting person who does lots of things with other interesting people your own age. You don't allow your child's behavior to trigger and drive your emotions. If you often say things like, my child drives me crazy sometimes, you are one of those child-driven people. And I'm sorry to have to tell you, but the problem is not your child. To be an effective boss, you must first be an impeccable boss of yourself. And make no mistake, your child needs a boss, not a 30 or 40-something-year-old friend. Oh, again, man, as I read these articles from Rosemond, these columns, I see our workplaces every time. They translate so closely. The correlation is so strong. And I have known managers that wanted to be friends with their employees desperately. And maybe they are, and maybe they're able to maintain that with some level of professionalism. Maybe you are actually able to discipline a friend or family member who is in your charge as a manager consistently and effectively. But that seems unlikely, right? I mean, and again, I'm not suggesting that these are exactly correlated, that there are situations where the parenting approach may be slightly different than the managing employees approach. But I will say, at least as I read these things, and as I read books like Principles of Human Performance or Safety Differently, things like that, this new paradigm shift in how we philosophically approach a process change, you know? I mean, I just look at these things and think, you know, these are really key concepts, these concepts about being liked, about earning respect, about obedience that we talk about when we talk about parenting and how closely correlated they are to managing employees. So I'm just wanting this to be food for thought. I would be interested in your comments on these things. If you've ever viewed managing employees like parenting, and I know I have, I would be interested in hearing from you. So you know how to reach me, Doug@FletcherSafety.com, email. You can put comments below the YouTube videos if that's your preference. You can text me, my phone number, 402-332-7755. You can always text me there if you have comments or questions. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you had a good week, and I hope you have a great weekend and get recharged and get back at this next week. What we do is really important, and in my mind, and I know in some of your minds, it's evolving how we do these things. So same tools, different mindset, right? We're doing the same things. We're going to be doing training. We're going to be doing auditing. We're looking for hazards. We're looking for solutions. But I think Safety Differently, this Safety 2, is just a different philosophical approach rather than a process change. We use the same processes with different mindset. So keep up the good work, and we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.